Viewers, welcome back to the second part of episode 3 of a new series. We are continuing where we left last time. We are continuing with the national policies. Finance Ministry, in a very recent meeting of all the bankers, has directed the banks to ensure that all bank accounts are seeded with Aadhaar numbers before 31st March 2021. Once again, this is going to ensure that all the data with respect to the individuals and their multiple bank accounts are going to be available with the government. So the possibility of people having multiple FDs and then not declaring certain incomes is all going to fade away, because they are all going to appear on your TDS website, and the possibility of people manipulating using multiple PAN numbers and multiple account numbers is all fading away. So this deadline is not only going to cut down on the leakages, it can also ensure that the needy people are able to have direct benefit transfers sent to their accounts. The Finance Ministry has also suggested to all the bankers to start issuing RuPay cards. Now, traditionally, the Indian bankers have been issuing either Visa card or MasterCard. Obviously, they have a better ease of use and also maybe a better revenue sharing with them. Now, RuPay cards, have a lesser earning opportunities for the bank, but it becomes beneficial for the merchant who is swiping, because he is going to pay much lesser. But there is a pride that RuPay card is a card that has been created from the Indian ecosystem. Now, the Finance Minister's view is that now that the RuPay card is being accepted internationally, there should be some pride amongst the Indian bankers to issue the RuPay cards instead of the Visa or MasterCard. Now, all the Jan Dhan accounts that were started some time back, they all came with RuPay debit cards. So somehow there is a feeling that the RuPay cards are basically for economically weaker section. I think there is a very important need for most of the people to really rise up and start demanding RuPay cards just as a matter of national pride. We not only bring down the transaction cost to the merchants, we also have a sense of pride, because that is something that was created from the Indian ecosystem. The second very interesting development that has happened is WhatsApp has been approved by the Unified Payment Interface for payment mechanism using UPI. They have been set a limit of 20 million users, but this is going to have a very good impact on the country with respect to digitization of the economy. Because if you see China, there is a chat messenger app called WeChat. And WeChat bought out with this payment mechanism and Alipay and all those things. They really went on to penetrate the local small trade and small change also to be digitized. Now, any messaging app, when it comes up with a payment option, now let's imagine group of 4 or 5 people go for a restaurant together. Now, instead of one person paying, now all of you can pool in the money by just splitting the bill. So this is definitely going to increase the penetration of digitization of the economy. But the fact that the NPCI, which is the National Payment Corporation of India, is also now thinking of ensuring not a single player runs away with the majority of the market share. So what it has done, it has now put a cap of 30% ceiling for any single player. So Google Pay, which started much later, has almost become the de facto leader with respect to the digital payment system right now. So in some areas it is seen as with some experts, they feel setting ceiling is not a good idea. My personal view is ensuring that there are caps, at least with respect to financial aspects or financial products or anything that relates to financial transactions. Setting up caps, I personally feel, is a very good system, because it will ensure that there's a level playing field. And the next very important announcement that has happened is that it is actually a claim that has been made by the government. The government has claimed that it has been able to eliminate close to 43.9 million bogus and ineligible ration cards from the public distribution system. Now, this is something phenomenal, because we always knew that there was a huge leakage with respect to anything that came up with a social cause. And because it came up with a social cause, everyone was scared to touch it. But just the fact that we have been able to use Aadhaar very effectively to eliminate these duplicate ration cards ensure the needy actually get the benefit that they are supposed to get. And by eliminating these inefficiencies out of the system, you can even enhance the support mechanism that you can offer to both the economically weaker section and those people who suffer from time to time because of national calamities. So this is a very positive outcome or extrapolation or a benefit that we have been able to derive out of the Aadhaar card mechanisms. I think one of the biggest areas which the government progressively is seeing this will help is to provide a good national food security, because we saw during the COVID period time that people were migrating, and the migrant laborers always lacked a locus standi with respect to where their family will be in one place and they will be in one place, they will be migrating from one place to other, and they will lose their ability to claim the food security using ration card. Now because the ration cards are portable across the country, so even if you migrate from one village to another village, you go and give it to a local ration card, and then you can start using the rations from there. The second very important development that has happened in the recent time is that the Institute of Himalayan Biospheres Technology has come up with an initiative to plant hing, or hing is a very famous condiment that we use, spice or a condiment we use in our cooking. It is basically asafoetida, to start planting it in Himachal Pradesh, and progressively it's expected to be increased to be planted in Uttarakhand, Ladakh, and other states which are on the slopes of Himalaya. Now this is one particular plant, though widely used in our cooking. We have always imported it from Afghanistan, Iran and Uzbekistan, and close to 942 crores worth of hing is imported every year. That is close to 1500 tons of hing is annually imported. Now once again the government has taken an initiative to ensure that at least these items can be produced locally. It will not only increase the income opportunities for people in the foothills, it will also reduce our imports. This plant usually grows in cold and dry regions and brings in good returns to the farmers, because it's a resin that it's basically a resin that comes out of the plant roots, and it takes 5 years for the plant roots to really start producing any benefits from, start producing the resins from the plant. The next interesting change that has happened, which is a very welcome change, we all should be very happy about, is the Water Resources Ministry has revived two rivers in UP. So the rivers are Mandakini and Tamsa. And why is this significant? Because somewhere along the line, though the rivers have been part of our culture and we even pray the rivers, in fact many rivers in Indian context are seen as goddesses, but somewhere along the line we lost the respect for it and allowed the rivers to dry and die. And so the revival of these rivers are going to ensure that the civilization or the people and villages along these rivers have a revival in their agriculture and their earnings and their growth thereon. So the work is going on for another 17 rivers to be revived. This is a very welcome step, because just caring about our ecology is a very important aspect of announcing to the world that we are a developing nation, because we are getting to be a developed nation, because usually developing nations don't care about it, but developed nations give a lot of importance to their ecology. Now the fact that we have started focusing on it, it's kind of an announcement to the world that we are heading to be a developed nation. The next very interesting development that has happened is the Gujarat High Court has started live streaming their court proceedings in YouTube. Now, why is this very, very interesting? It's because somehow the judiciary has been the last bastion where the digital progress has been very, very low. And also there has always been this feeling where the clients have always felt short charged with respect to the legal system, because lot of time there's postponement, the dates are issued, very little argument happens, there are always postponements and adjournments in a case, and you really don't know whether the reason given by the lawyer is true or not. But just by live streaming all these things, you're not only going to increase the legal awareness, you're also going to ensure that transparency is set in motion. I'm sure a lot of the MPs' behavior has at least marginally changed. I wouldn't say it's completely changed, marginally changed after Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha live telecast started happening. Now the same impact will start happening in the High Courts as well. So what starts off with Gujarat High Court, there's a very good possibility now it starts going to the other states and even starts happening in Supreme Court. This could also be a precursor for e-courts to start happening. During the COVID times, we really saw that the courts had no other option but to start having a e-hearing. But neither the software was in place nor the mechanism very well defined nor there was a comfort level for people to use it. So it was more or less, I wouldn't say a farce, but it was more or less a compromise where mostly adjournment dates were given rather than real arguments taking place. So we are hoping that this kind of or a place where the institutions of importance in the country start becoming more transparent. Viewers, with this we wrap up the national news and national policies. Please stay connected. We will upload the next video where we will start talking about the states, infrastructure, defense, and a whole lot of things. We hope to keep it interesting. Till such time, please stay happy, stay connected, and stay healthy. Thank you and good day to you.